Imagine planting a seed, watering it faithfully, tending the soil and watching, and nothing. You wait some more, you water some more, you show up every day. You're a gardener after all. You care for those little seeds that you so carefully planted beneath the soil, and you wait. Days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and still you see nothing. But just because you see nothing doesn't mean nothing's happening. Here's a fun fact. When you plant bamboo, nothing breaks the surface for the first few years. Not a single green shoot. For up to 4 years, bamboo grows downward, not upward. It sends out roots and anchors itself. It builds a network underground, quietly and invisibly, without any evidence on the surface that something's happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, it can grow up to 3 feet in a single day. Here's why I'm sharing this. Language acquisition works like that. When students are in the early stages of acquiring language, especially in their first weeks or months with the language, they may not speak much or even at all. It may seem like nothing is happening because getting them to speak is like pulling teeth. But just like bamboo, what we can see in terms of their language production isn't the full story. Language is taking root under the surface even when it's not visible above the surface. A few years ago, I heard Dr. Karen Lichtman tell a story about her then 21-month-old daughter that captures this perfectly. Up until 20 months, her daughter added new words to her oral vocabulary pretty slowly. And Dr. Lichtman started to get a little worried. Why wasn't she saying more? Why wasn't there more progress? She was doing all the right things. And then, bam! Between 20 and 21 months, her daughter's speech exploded. In that month, she introduced so many new words into her vocabulary. She said so many new words for the first time. But here's the thing. She didn't learn all those words in 1 month. She didn't suddenly acquire this massive quantity of vocabulary overnight. Those words had been there inside her head, quietly building up over time. What happened between 20 and 21 months wasn't a sudden burst of language growth. It was a sudden burst of growth in spoken communication. And that distinction matters. Language is used to communicate, and it can be observed through communication, but language and communication are not the same thing. Dr. Lichtman's daughter had been acquiring language long before she started using it to speak, but it wasn't visible. Her brain was busy growing roots as it made sense of the language being used around her. It was busy forming connections and creating a complex internal linguistic system. This happens with our students too. It doesn't matter that they're already able to form words with their mouths and vocal cords. It doesn't matter that they're already fluent in at least one language. It doesn't matter that they're teenagers, not babies. They still need time for language to build up inside their heads before they're ready to speak. They will still pass through what is called a silent period. Now, you might be thinking, but my students are already talking on day 1 of level 1. Okay, I get it. My students are producing sounds too. But not all speaking is true output. Much of speaking is repetition, memorized, and it's coming out of the declarative memory system. If you've watched some of my other metaphor videos, you'll understand me when I say that they're using stuff from the attic. True output is characterized by meaning making. It comes out of a linguistic system, and that linguistic system has to be formed before anything can come out of it. And as that system is putting down its initial roots, students are going to live in the silent period. During the silent period, students are storing up language, not as isolated words or memorized rules, but as connected meaning. They're building the system that will one day allow them to speak fluently and confidently, even if it's initially just in simple utterances. The silent period is going to look different for every student. And that's why we advocate for holding off on speaking assessments until all students have had a chance to build up enough internal language to be able to truly speak, to truly make meaning as they communicate, not just parrot words back at you. Oral proficiency doesn't develop from practicing speaking. It comes from engaging with communicatively embedded, comprehensible input. Language that students can understand, delivered in meaningful communicative contexts over time. So when your students are quiet, trust the roots. When they hesitate or stay silent, but they're showing you with their eyes and their reactions that they're not stuck, they're growing. And when they're ready, just like bamboo, they will shoot up seemingly overnight. The messages will come. The spoken communication will catch up to the language that's already been quietly growing inside. You are a gardener, so keep watering the soil. The most important growth doesn't happen on the surface, it's happening underground. So let it.